What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to JellyGoonTv. Welcome back to all my beautiful viewers and subscribers, of course. Welcome back to the JellyGoon squad, and welcome back to my beautiful family. Today we have another video, but before we get to that, I want to say go down below and check out my social media. You can also join the Discord to become a family member. We have some ranks over there that you could become the more active you stay. There's jelly memes over there, which we're going to put in the video soon, so everything is just amazing over there. Come over and join the family, of course. Sign up for Patreon. New content is going to come soon over there. We're going to react to documentaries, everything like that. So yeah, today's video is a political topic. It's a very high one, I guess. This video is how Taiwan became the biggest risk for a US-China clash. Now, we heard a lot about this city. It's a country for itself, I guess, but China really wants to overtake it, and it really does belong to China, I guess, for them, for their brain. But Taiwan is fighting back against them, of course. They want to be their own country. They want to legalize gay marriage and everything like that. I actually think they did it or something like that. It's an amazing country. It's an amazing place. Really want to go there, of course. But we're going to watch this video. But be in mind that this is very political. So, yeah. But anyway, let me just get into this and see what is going on. Why the US and the China would clash over Taiwan. What is going on? So, yeah. Without further ado, let's go.
Taiwan is a fascinating experiment in terms of democratization. You've got a relatively liberal society. One way that people have seen that globally is that it's the first place in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage.
Nice, that's good.
It's an island of less than 24 million people, and yet its economy is...
Like, who cares about if they say marriage? Who cares? It's not your life. Mind your own business.
This wealthy, democratic island is not considered an independent country by Beijing. China has long viewed Taiwan as its lost territory and threatened to unify with it by force.
China is crazy sometimes.
Under Beijing's pressure, only 15 states in the world recognize Taiwan today, down from 23 in 2016. And one key country is not on that list. The United States.
Why not? Why not,
the US
America?
is Taiwan's biggest ally, although there are no formal diplomatic relations between the two. The US is Taiwan's biggest arms supplier, has close economic ties with the island, and is likely to defend it.
Of course.
We are going to hold China accountable to follow the rules.
So how has Taiwan
become
the most volatile issue between the world's two greatest powers?
Amazing, man. Let me pause here. So it's kind of funny to see that America is selling weapons to another country. Of course they are. They are very dirty bastards. They're selling weapons all over the place. No effect to America, no disrespect, of course. But business is business, as your capitalistic bastards say. But yeah, it is very curious why America is like that. That it does not have diplomatic things up and driving with it. So yeah, let's see what Americans' reason is for that. But my main concern is China versus America. So let's go.
Up to the late 19th century, Taiwan, then known as Formosa, passed through the rule of Dutch and Spanish colonizers, its aboriginal peoples, and Chinese dynasties. In 1895, the Qing dynasty of China lost Taiwan to Japan after a humiliating military defeat. Taiwan was then ruled by the Japanese for the following 50 years. Japan wanted to make Taiwan into a model colony, using it as an example to persuade other Asian nations to join the Japanese Empire.
They raised living standards, they improved education, improved health, and built a lot of infrastructure, so that 50 years later, Taiwan was actually one of the more developed parts of the region.
That's good.
After
Even though
World
it
War
is a
II,
political chess
Taiwan
game.
was returned to the control of the Chinese government, at that point the Republic of China. The Republic of China rapidly lost the Chinese Civil War to the Communist Party of China, and as a result ended up on Taiwan as a regime in exile with very few resources, a lot of refugees, a very poor population struggling to survive.
Taiwan relied heavily on US economic aid, but by the middle of the 1960s, most of that aid was phased out, as the US wanted Taiwan to develop its own economy. So Taiwan changed its strategy, moving from an import substitution policy, which replaced foreign imports with homemade goods, to an export-oriented economy.
And Taiwan moved very, very quickly towards exporting very cheap, mostly consumer goods to the United States.
Exactly, yeah.
And as a consequence, over the next 20 to 30 years, Taiwan's economy boomed.
That's good.
So beginning in the 1980s, the government in Taiwan started to think, how do we take the next step in our economic development? And they identified, among many areas, semiconductors as a critical technology.
Oh, wow.
And so that really took off in the 1990s with the growth of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, that eventually, now today, is an absolutely crucial company for any company that's making technology. Their chips are in smartphones, they're in tablets, they're in computers, they're in games consoles. And
let me pause here. This is what I'm trying to say to you guys, that all these Asian countries are actually making 90% of everything that you see around you. And it's just, they own the world. And without them, we couldn't do the things that we've done, because it's a very thing about money and companies. They expand because they see a potential in the country and they see that it's cheap. But these capitalistic, greedy bastards. It is very nice to not pay full price for whatever you did and get 150% in capital, of course. Yeah, Asian people are actually the reason why we do have technology and have all these things, of course, in Africa with the materials and everything. Is it right? No, because Asian people are very hardworking people, and they will to go down and pay just to work and just to feed their family. There's a lot of problems there, and there's a lot of poverty, of course. There's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of depression, a lot of things like that. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's kind of funny to hear this, and it's true. It is 100% true. Let's go.
as well. Anything that you need chips for, largely, you're having to come to TSMC. And so this, by extension, puts Taiwan in a fairly strong position that it is a key node in the tech supply chain globally. And so it is a really, really valuable partner for every single country in the world.
Indeed it is.
Alongside this economic shift, Taiwan's political landscape also changed dramatically. Under the rule of the Chinese Nationalist Party, or KMT, for 4 decades Taiwan was an authoritarian regime until the end of martial law in the late 1980s. Then Taiwan gradually transitioned to democracy. The first direct presidential elections took place in 1996, followed by several peaceful transfers of power.
So the Democratic Progressive Party is the current party that governs Taiwan. They were a party that came out of this movement of activists pushing for more democracy in Taiwan in the 1970s.
Taiwan deserves
and their fundamental stance is that Taiwan is already an independent country.
But this isn't the same stance held by Beijing.
大陆和台湾同属一个中国的事实从未改变。一个中国原则是两岸关系的政治基础。
So from the People's Republic of China, the PRC's
So this guy
perspective,
wants Taiwan.
Taiwan remains the last piece of an unfinished civil war. It's an illegitimate regime. It's a breakaway territory that needs to be unified with the motherland.
Let me pause here. Which country does that remind me of? Oh. No, but it's a totally different situation, of course. It's 100% different. It's not the same. Definitely not. Asian culture is different than Russian culture, and I understand that in Ukraine there's a lot of Russian people living there and everything, but I'm not going to dive into that because that's none of my business, so I'm just going to keep it quiet. Let's go.
The Chiang Kai-shek regime won a reprieve in June 1950 when the Korean War broke out. The United States then stepped in to prevent a final Chinese Communist Party, CCP-led invasion of the island of Taiwan. The United States has been there ever since as the guarantor of Taiwan's security.
Despite this guarantee of security, in 1979 the US broke ties with the Republic of China on Taiwan and established them with the People's Republic of China in Beijing.
Here things get complicated. The United States, in one of our communiques with the People's Republic of China, acknowledged the PRC position that Taiwan was part of China, but the United States also did not accept the PRC claim to Taiwan. That has been our position ever since, and so in effect, the US views Taiwan's status as undetermined.
But even after 1979,
Something
they've
fishy about
maintained
that.
informal relations with Taiwan and continued to invest here, continued to support the economy, and have most importantly continued to sell arms to Taiwan.
With the US in the middle, China and Taiwan have avoided war for over 7 decades, but tensions between the two sides have risen in recent years. Emerging as a superpower on the world stage, China has become more assertive in its claims of sovereignty over Taiwan. While most of the Taiwanese prefer maintaining the status quo for now, many young people favor overt independence for Taiwan.
The young people have really been at the heart of this political transformation we're seeing in Taiwan over the past 8-9 years, where they started pushing back against this economic integration between China and Taiwan that started under former President Ma Ying-jeou.
One of the best examples was the sunflower movement.
The sunflower
broke out
movement,
in March
okay.
of 2014. This movement was led mostly by college students
Amazing.
opposed to negotiations with Beijing over a free trade agreement. The movement occupied the legislative yuan, Taiwan's parliament, for more than 3 weeks
What?
in order to block that parliament from considering this trade agreement and voting on it.
That is
So in
crazy.
effect, the sunflower movement protesters blocked further economic integration with
Wow, let me pause here. Taiwan did what America couldn't do, the protesters in America couldn't do. Those fucking snowflakes, conservative people. They basically did do it for 3 weeks. I think in America they only hold for what, 1 hour, 2 hours? They didn't even come in the building, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. They did come in the building because one got shot, I guess. But yeah, anyway, man, that's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna hold it for 3 weeks and everything. You know, you need to sit your goddamn statement instead of that. I do not condone political violence, just saying.
Taiwanese podcasters Kylie Wang and Ken Young joined some of the rallies and marches and started their popular news show during the movement.
We have mixed feelings towards China. Because on one hand, I know that a lot of young people want to explore the big market in China because China have just much more opportunity and sometimes even better salaries nowadays.
Yeah, especially for those who just graduated from college.
On the other hand, China just keep on bullying us. We just don't like what they're doing. We want to have economic growth, but we do not want to sacrifice our economic growth with our freedom of speech, with our independence, with our democracy.
Since the Sunflower Movement, the China-friendly KMT party has seen its polling numbers decline steeply, while the DPP leader Tsai Ing-wen won the presidential elections in 2016 and was re-elected in 2020.
So she has as her bottom line effectively that Taiwan is an independent sovereign nation. Her stance is that we're willing to talk, but only as equals. And that is obviously a position that Beijing is unwilling to accept.
China cut
Yeah.
official communications with Taiwan in 2016 and stopped individual travel permits to the island in 2019. It's also upped the rhetoric on taking control of Taiwan and increased military maneuvers, all of which is a concern for the US.
Taiwan is by far the most likely issue to draw the United States and China into a direct military conflict. I should say I don't think the likelihood of that is particularly high still.
It's not.
But
It's not.
it overshadows all
Let me just
other...
pause here real quick and let me say 2 dicks is better than 1, right? So these 2 fucking dicks, they're gonna play up against each other. They're gonna try to bully each other. They're gonna use other states to bully each other. They're gonna do a lot of things. But a full-scale war is very bad for the economy. It's very bad for the money. It's very bad for the 1% who sits on the top and wipe their ass with dollar bills. It is very bad for business. It's bad for everything. China is the manufacturer of 90% of toys in the world. Everything like that. If countries have to pay for their own material, is going to be more expensive, therefore the things are going to go up, therefore we're going to get broke. So there's going to be no war, there's going to be nothing. They're going to put these fucking little puppets because there's so much money in the world that nothing is going to happen. Putin is not going to nuclear bomb anybody, US is not going to attack anybody, China's not going to attack anybody. They simply playing their big dicks. That's all the fuck they always did in the whole entire freaking world. They learned from World War I, they learned from World War II. They say no more, we don't need that because there's no money in that. Of course, there's more money in war, but the short-term, exaggeration of it is not good. With the infrastructure, everything, you don't know what's happened. It's uncertain what the enemy is planning. Therefore, you need a structural economy and a structural way to control your opponent, and that is by computer hacking, money, everything like that. Companies, it's not going to close down any soon, because we live in a modern world where we need these resources and phones and everything like that. There is not going to be a World War III. It is impossible. Now, I will argue there's been a World War III in Iraq, but, you know, not that big, but every country was actually in it, so, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I'm just saying, man, there's nothing that's going to happen, so don't be scared, because there's too much money in the world, and these people are very, you know, they are very piggy-like. They love money. And that's what you actually got to be thankful for, because if they didn't care, they just bomb everything. But there's so much money and there's so much roots inside of politics that you cannot just, oh, we're going to bomb that country. You can't. See with Trump, people thought Trump was going to bring the world down. Didn't do anything, because he's not allowed by the 1% of the guys who sit at the top to do that. And we all know president is a puppet. That's all we know, right? So let's go.
Potential points of friction in the U.S.-China relationship.
If China and Taiwan did eventually go to war, there could be a devastating cost to human life and industry.
Of course they can, but they will not.
If China manages, they could spend years
China's just trying to bully.
And struggle to integrate a hostile population.
So it would be an incredibly dangerous, messy affair. The attempt to invade a fortified island is always going to be an incredibly difficult one. So there's a very good reason they have not attempted to take Taiwan by military force. It's because they're not sure they can do so. And so it would be a really disastrous event for everybody involved. And there's a very good chance that
they're not going to take it. This guy's an expert, and he's trying to big it up for the documentary. That's all he's trying to do.
As well. You know, put quite simply, it's in everybody's best interest right now not to force the issue and to push it off for another few years or maybe even a few decades.
But the unification would signal to the world that it's China, not the US, that's the new dominant power in the region.
国家强大、民族复兴、两岸统一的历史大势，更是任何人、任何势力都无法阻挡的。
Being able to bring Taiwan into the PRC fold would obviously be a huge achievement for any Chinese leader, and you know it's largely seen as being as one of his ambitions to achieve before he steps down, whenever that may be.
Taiwan's future really depends on if our allies would take China seriously.
No, I would say it depends on the attitudes of the Western countries towards China. Yeah. Because if the Western countries, for example, the US, start to see Taiwan as an important geopolitical ally, then Taiwan could become a beacon of democracy in the Chinese-speaking world. If not, the Western countries would like to see China growing over to influence over the world, then
they can just let China be and...
Yeah, and we will be in real risk.
Yeah, Taiwan might be in a real risk.
The Trump administration showed strong support for Taiwan by providing more weapons, sending high-level officials to visit, and changing the law to make interactions between the two sides much easier. In June, a US delegation visited Taipei and announced plans to donate 750,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines to alleviate its shortage of shots.
Since Biden has taken office, the people he's put in place so far, at least, have repeated the Trump administration's position on Taiwan and have actually taken quite strong stands in favor of that approach to Taiwan, ignoring or pushing back against Beijing's objections.
But obviously we'll have to see over the next 4
Nothing is going to
years
happen,
to
no
see
worries.
how strong that support for Taiwan actually is.
Taiwan is a very, very, very important interest if they have a manufacturer that manufacture all the chips, trust me, man. Alright, man, that was a beautiful video. We learned something about Taiwan. It's a very gorgeous, gorgeous country. I call it a country because if they want to be called that, they're going to be called that. Now, there's a lot of political aspect into it, but I feel like if the people want to be free, want to be free. But the problem with two major powers is they always going to play their dick, and they always going to bully you with other countries. They're going to take over a country or bully small countries to get to another country, to the bigger country. Because going straight for the bigger country, if you are China and you go straight for America, is a very very bad idea to do because it's a direct attack. So what you need to do is go through other states, go through other countries. Maybe China pays off a little country to take over that country, to political allies, to, you know, USA go in and stop them, and then the US is the bad guys, and US cannot afford to go into war because of the European Parliament, and, you know, they're gonna go against America, something like that. You know, there's a lot of strategy to politics, and there's a lot of good ideas, but I think it's horrible to make war because everything is great right now. We have the biggest economy, we have it good. You know, I know the coronavirus slowed everything down, but yeah, we can argue about that all day, but I'm just saying, two nations who are so big, it's not gonna take big risks. They're not gonna nuclear bomb anybody. Simply the number of nuclear bombs is just to play big dick. Like, it's all to put your dick on the table and say, you know what, I got this many. That's just what it is with Russia, America, and China. China is 90% of the world. They stood for everything, clothes, manufacture, everything. Also Taiwan, but Asians do it a lot. They stand for most of the production. Not China everything, but you know what I mean, right? So yeah. Anyway, guys and girls, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. I would love for you to see this video and like it. It also gives me a chance to see that you like this content that I'm reacting to. So I really do hope that you guys and girls want to be helpful and just, you know, hit that like button down below. Also, please do subscribe and hit that notification button to get updated on newest videos that come to this channel, and you become a member of the Jelly Goon Squad, of course. Anyway, guys and girls, also please do comment down below what your opinion is about this video. What is your opinion about Taiwan? What do you think? Whether they lay, do they need to be independent, or do you support China? Please let me know in the opinions down below. I would love to hear it. Anyway, guys and girls, see you until the next one. Peace.